Today we are going to discuss ASP.NET MVC application development environment. So means whenever at the time of creating ASP.NET MVC application, that complete development environment we are going to discuss today. So right, ASP.NET MVC provides two types of project templates to develop the application. Again, I'm telling you, ASP.NET MVC will provide two types of projects templates to develop the web application. Number one, it is called main template. That is main template. Number two is called sub template. Now I'm going to show you the main template and sub template. So today, first time, we are going to create a new ASP.NET MVC application. While creating the application, how will be the environment? First, you have to open your Visual Studio.NET. So this is in your system. Whenever you install .NET software, here your Visual Studio.NET icon will create. So I hope you observe the Visual Studio.NET icon. On this icon, click. Once you click this, it will open Visual Studio.NET IDE. IDE stands for Integrating Development Environment. Whenever you get this IDE window, here you will have an option. Right? You have seen all these things at the time of console applications and ASP.NET applications. Now here you can click. You have two options, new project and open up project. Open project is to open the yesterday created project. New project is to create your new application. New project, and it will open new project window. Here select left side web, right side ASP.NET MVC for web application. So now this is called main template. I told it supports two templates. In that first template is main template. The main template is ASP.NET MVC4. Suppose if you are using MVC6, then it will show ASP.NET MVC6 web application. And here rename your application as per your requirement. I'm writing my first MVC application is the name of my project. And I'm going to save that within a location called D. Depends upon you. Click OK button. With this process, it will create a new, it will open second window. In second window, you have new ASP.NET MVC project template window. Here you will have all the sub templates. That is the reason I told the sub template. It will support two templates. One is main template, sub template. Sub template has various options. Number one, empty. Number two, basic. Number three, internet application. Number four, intranet. Number five, mobile application. Number six, web API. You can observe here we have various options. Okay. Using empty, what we can do. Using basic, what we can do. Using internet application, what we can do. What is the difference between one template to another template? Today we are going to discuss. So that is our main concept of today's, that we discussed that today we are going to understand ASP.NET application development environment. What is empty? If you select empty, see what is happening, you know, guys. Suppose you are selecting empty and you are going to select some view engine. I am selecting a view engine called Razor. What is Razor engine? Here you will have two view engines, ASPX engine and Razor engine. Present I am selecting Razor engine. Later classes will discuss what is the difference between these two. You have to select any one engine. I am selecting a view engine called Razor engine. Click OK button. So with this process, your new ASP.NET MVC application is creating, but you remember you are selecting empty. Okay, click OK button. Now, because of empty, what is going to happen? You try to understand. This template similar to ASP.NET empty web applications. Means in ASP.NET also you will have this empty option. The main purpose of empty is you want to create a web application without any default files. You don't want to have any default files. Every file you want to add your own. That is called empty. The same facility you have in ASP.NET empty web application also. It generates empty folders. You need to develop from the scratch. Application should be developed from the scratch. So now we will see what happened whenever you select empty. Now you can observe we entered into ASP.NET MVC empty application. We entered into ASP.NET MVC empty application development environment. Here you will have so many folders. But about all these things, by default you will have all these folders, but it is not coming with any default files, means default controllers, default models, default views. I told very clearly that ASP.NET MVC application development environment will be divided into three parts. I told very clearly ASP.NET MVC application development environment will be splitting into three modules or three parts. That is very important discussion when you are discussing about MVC. Again, I am repeating, it was already discussed last three classes. So, due to the sake of newcomers, I am explaining about this. What is that? 1 minute. Yeah. Now that is one is called model, another one is called view. Yeah. 1 minute. 1 minute. So I think pen board is not working today. Okay. Without this, I'll try to explain. Right. What is this? Already we have diagram. Don't worry. Same ASP.NET MVC application architecture diagram we have. What is the diagram? I'm going to show you. Instead of drawing the diagram, I'm showing the diagram which is already exists in our material. So, right. This is the architecture MVC diagram. In ASP.NET MVC or any MVC application will contain three modules. Are you getting my voice, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. One is controller, view, and model. Model will contain the data access logic, the logic which is communicating the database. View will contain the UI logic, means appearance logic. Controller will contain the execution logic. Request will come to the controller. Controller will process the request. Based on the request, it will forward to either view or model. And again, view will respond to controller. Controller will give the output to the browser. Otherwise, if the request required database access, then controller will forward the request to model. Model will communicate the database, will get the output, will give to the controller. Again, controller will give to the view. Again, view will generate the output and will give to the controller, will give to the controller will give to the browser. In this way, here you can observe in MVC, your application contains 3 modules. Okay, here data access logic, here UI logic, here you have execution logic. So the thing is, for these 3 modules, here you have 3 folders. Okay, controllers logic files will be under this folder. Models related logic like data access logic files will be in this folder. Views files means the views of MVC files means UI files will be available in the views folder. But here important point is, can you tell me, right, controller will contain what logic, guys? Execution. Execution logic you write by using which language? C#.NET. With this we can say within the controller file extension will be .cs, because C#.NET class file extension will be .cs, and models will contain the data access code. Data access code can be ADO.NET code or link code or entity framework code, whatever code it is, but that code we will write by using which language? Which language? What is a language? What is a .NET language we will use?
C#.
C#. Due to that reason, models file extension will be also .cs. Okay. Next, third one, views will contain the view UI code. UI will contain which code? HTML, JavaScript, and so on. So that views extension will be, file extension will be in MVC, in ASP.NET MVC .cs HTML. So that is the story. But present it is a empty application. Due to that reason, this doesn't have any files. You observe, it doesn't have any controller file default, any model file, any views file. That is the story about what application? Empty application, empty template. So here, by the time of creating ASP.NET MVC application, we have various sub templates. Among that, right now we have selected one sub template. That sub template name is what? Empty. When you create empty, it will not come with any default files. It will have all the skeleton of the application, and using the skeleton application, you have to develop the application from the scratch. Every file you should add. For beginners, empty is the best without having any confusion with the existing and old files. Now coming to the second template is called basic. Second template is called basic. So what do you mean by basic? We have to understand now. Basic. This template, same as empty template. It provides additional folders for client-side programming. That folders are content. That folders are 2 folders. One is content folder. Another one is script folder. One is content folder. Another one is script folder. Scripts folder. Let me show you the second model called, that is called basic. Now I am going to close this empty application. Now we are going to create basic application. Visual Studio.NET, Visual Studio.NET 2013. Okay, now I'm clicking a new project. Now you are entered into main template. Here you change the name of the application, my MVC application, my MVC application. Let me take it as basic application, some name changing. Click OK. Now it's going to second sub templates. Here you select it as basic and you can click OK button, and with this process it will create basic MVC web application. It's going to create basic MVC web application. Compare with empty and basic, you will have some default files in basic MVC web application. For beginners, best one, either empty or basic. Okay, which will avoid the confusions. You can observe here also by default it is coming with controllers, empty folder, models empty folder, views contain some default one view file, that is view start.cshtml, and by default it will come with some files, but main here extra added thing is in basic scripts folder. It's adding one folder. What is that? Scripts folder is one new thing which you have here. So what is the script? That this template same as empty template, but it provides additional folders for client-side programming. Client-side programming. Number one, content. Number two, scripts. Number one, content folder. I forgot to tell you about this. Number two, scripts folder. These two folders are not available in case of empty. Okay, what content folder will contain? What scripts folder will contain? Scripts folder will contain content folder. This folder can contain. Are you able to see my screen, guys? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Generally, whenever I am discussing, discussing lines, I will display in a yellow color to make highlight. Is it comfort for you? Right.
Yes.
This folder can contain .css files and images. .css nothing but cascading style sheet files, CSS files, and images. Whenever your application is using any images like .jpg, .jpeg, particularly those image files and CSS files should be adding to a folder called, what is the folder name? Content. So content folder should have the image files and .css files if your application is having, otherwise not required. Next, come back to our discussion. Second folder is called scripts folder. Let's understand about scripts folder. This folder can contain the client side scripting files like client-side scripting files like JavaScript, AngularJS, or jQuery files. The extension of all these files extension is .js. Means whenever you want to write client-side scripting in your ASP.NET web application or ASP.NET MVC web application or Java application, you will write that client-side scripting with the help of client-side scripting languages. The first one is JavaScript. Next entered latest one is either AngularJS or jQuery. Whether AngularJS or jQuery or JavaScript, the file's extension will be .js. JS stands for JavaScript. So by default, you can observe the scripts folder is coming with some jQuery libraries, some knockout libraries, but all the files extension will be what you can say .js. Whenever you are using jQuery, that time you can use these default libraries in your application. So that is the story about scripts folder. Or else you are using some other files of JavaScript or AngularJS or jQuery, you can add to this scripts folder. Just to here what is happening, it is maintaining different folders to get more clarity to the developer, to avoid the confusion to the developer. That is only the purpose. Okay, so that is the story. Next, come back to our discussion. We have to understand third subtemplate, that is called internet applications. Third template is called internet application. Okay, so what is this internet applications? Right here you can observe I'm talking about internet application. Okay, right. Internet application. This template is same as ASP.NET web application. In ASP.NET, you will have default ASP.NET web application template, same template. It generates project with form authentication security. It generates application with forms authentication security. Very simple here. You have to understand. By default, ASP.NET web application. Generally in ASP.NET, we will have three types of authentications. That is come under security concept. There is a concept called security in ASP.NET. ASP.NET security we can implement by using three authentications. Number one is called forms authentication. Number two is called Windows authentication. Number three is called as passport authentication. Here you should have this concept is available in ASP.NET. Three types of authentications we can implement in ASP.NET. Number one, forms authentication. Number two, Windows authentication. Number three, passport authentication. By default, ASP.NET web application also will support default authentication of ASP.NET web application is forms authentication. Same way, your ASP.NET MVC, ASP.NET MVC web application default, it will also support forms authentication. Only that is the difference. Are you clear? That is the story. Remaining all will be same as basic. By default, it supports forms authentication. So in case of basic application, if you want to go for the authentication, you should config within the web.config files that I am going to which authentication like forms authentication or something else. Here you don't require to write. It will default will support forms authentication. Now come back to next option is another template is called internet web application. First one is 1 minute internet. This is called not internet, intranet web application. 1 minute I will show you this also again, that one and this one. I'm opening Visual Studio.NET. I'm opening Visual Studio.NET, new project, ASP.NET MVC. Click OK. Here you have two options. One is internet application, another one is intranet application. Internet application is same as ASP.NET web application. By default, it will support forms authentication. And coming to intranet application, not internet. Here it was a typo error. Maybe in your material also same mistake might be have. Intranet application. What is this? I'll show you. 1 minute. I'll make it highlight. Then it will be easy for you. This is intranet application. Intranet, internet. Intranet means a web application which is within the organization, which will work under LAN. Okay, that is called intranet application. Whenever you want to develop intranet, here also typo error, intranet. Whenever you want to develop intranet web applications. Intranet web application means a web application which will work within the organization. Generally, whenever you go for any company, internally they will have one website, internal website for their employee information, internal web application, so that they can log in from anywhere in the organization. Those applications are called intranet web applications. Whatever web applications you are using, Gmail, Facebook, are called internet web applications. So internet web applications will work under World Wide Web, and intranet web applications will work under LAN, local area network. Generally, organizations' internal web applications are called intranet. Whenever you want to develop intranet web applications by using ASP.NET MVC, you can select this template. Which template? Internet application template. This template is the same as, this template is same as, this is correct. This template is same as internet application, but it uses Windows authentication security. By default, it supports Windows authentication security. Just now I told that authentication security concept in ASP.NET, authentications are three types. One authentication is called forms authentication. Second authentication is called Windows authentication. Third authentication is called passport authentication. Internet applications will support forms authentication by default. Internet applications will support Windows authentication. At this level, you should remember only this point. More than this, you cannot understand. Right. Next, called fifth template is called mobile application. Fifth template is called mobile application. What is this mobile application? What is this mobile application? This template is same as internet application, but it targeted the mobile device instead of regular browser. Your web application is targeting the normal browser, but mobile application is targeting the mobile device like mobile phone, iPad, all these things. So what means here you can understand, whenever you want to develop a mobile app, you can use our mobile application template here. You can use mobile application template. Mobile application template. This is whenever you want to develop mobile application by using MVC, you should use this template. So that is story. Next, coming to, but where we observed mobile application development is not that much successful in .NET. Right. Next, coming to web API. Next template is called web API. What is this web API? We have to understand. Right. Web API. We have to understand. Coming to web API, any idea remembered regarding web API I told long back? Any point I told to you? No? Right. Web API. Web API is nothing but ASP.NET Web Service Technology. ASP.NET Web Service Technology means what you can say. ASP.NET Web API, Web API is a .NET Web Service Technology. Means .NET will support, listen here, .NET will support two web technologies. What is that? Come on, Satya, tell me. ASP.NET Web Forms. Using this, we can, okay, two web technologies. First technology, ASP.NET Web Forms. Using this, we can develop normal web application. And latest one be ASP.NET MVC. Using this, we can develop what? A web application. We can develop a web application which will follow MVC design pattern. MVC design pattern. That's it. That is the story. Which will follow MVC design pattern. This is a story about ASP.NET Web Forms and ASP.NET MVC. Similarly, .NET will support two web service technologies. Number one, first technology. Frankly, if you want to tell, three, not two. First technology in .NET 1.0 version. A XML web service technology. So whatever it is, web service technology means we can develop a web services. Okay, and B is second technology. B means second one. Second one in .NET 3.0 they release. That is WCF. WCF stands for Windows Communication Foundation. Okay, this came in the 3.0 version, and latest one recently C is Web API. Using XML web services, using WCF, using Web API, we can develop web services only. API stands for Application Protocol Base. Okay, using Web API, we can develop a web service. Using Web API, we can develop a web service which will follow MVC design pattern. MVC design pattern, which will follow MVC design pattern. So due to that reason, here Web API template, sub-template also available. You can observe. You are selecting new application, open Visual Studio.NET, new project, ASP.NET MVC web application. Under this, you have a sub-template called Web API. The purpose of Web API is to create a web service. Whenever you want to create a Web API web service, you should use this template. So that is the reason here I have given very clearly. Web API template is used to create service-based application in MVC pattern. Service-based application in MVC pattern. In MVC pattern, whenever you want to create a service-based application, we will use Web API. Web API service is called as HTTP service. Why we will call it as HTTP service, we'll discuss. HTTP means Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So HTTP service. Are you clear? So that is the story. Here we have to understand only one thing. Other than WCF, if you want to use Web API to create a web service, you should use Web API template. But this Web API web service will follow HTTP service. HTTP service. It is called as HTTP service. Why it is called as HTTP service? What is WCF service is called? That we will discuss at the time of WCF and Web API batch. Right. Here we have to understand mobile applications. You try to understand. Here I have given two notes regarding this templates, sub-templates. Number one, mobile application and Web API templates are introduced in ASP.NET MVC 4.4. Introduced in ASP.NET MVC 4. These templates are not available in previous version. Basic template is more comfortable. Basic template is more comfortable for beginners. So just it's a note, it's advice to the students. basic template is more comfortable to beginners, or empty template. If you have empty template, again you have to add the two folders, that is scripts folder and content folder, to avoid that confusion. Here suggestion is basic template is more comfort for beginners who want to develop project from the scratch, which default styles and scripts. So that is the point. So that is the reason from today onwards, whenever we will create a new MVC application, we will use basic template. We'll use basic template. So that is the story about all these types of application. And there is one more option, single page application, that we will discuss later. Right now we cannot understand, it leads confusion for us. So these are all the available sub templates in ASP.NET MVC. Are you clear? So what are the sub templates under main template? Number one, come on guys, tell me what are the sub templates?
Empty.
Empty. What is empty? What will happen because of empty? Anybody can explain? Whenever I am asking a question, if one person is able to the voice answer, remaining people can write a short answer. And as well as when the session is going on, to avoid your mind diversion, better to write the running notes. That helps a lot. Okay, if you have patience. Right. Tell me, what is empty? What will happen?
This file
Not
will come not any default.
they were sorry, it will not come with any default files. Okay.
File.
So, to develop the application from the scratch. What about basic?
It will provide two folders, content and
Yeah,
scripts.
be same as empty, but it will come with two more folders. One is content, second one is scripts. Content folder will contain what?
CSS files and the images.
.css files means cascading style sheet files, and .js. .css files and image files you can keep in content folder, and scripts folder should contain what files? JavaScript, AngularJS, .js files. And like, what about internet applications?
Forms authentication security.
Internet applications means, what is that? Forms?
Authentication security. It will provide forms.
MVC web application, but it will by default it will follow forms authentication security. Same will follow in ASP.NET web forms application also. Next, intranet applications. Intranet application means using this template we can develop a local area network web application, internal web application, but it will follow which authentication?
Windows authentication.
Windows authentication. Coming to mobile applications, it is used to develop a mobile app by using ASP.NET MVC. And coming to web API, using this we can develop a service, a web service, which will follow the MVC design pattern. It will follow the MVC design pattern. So using .NET you can develop web services with the help of either WCF or web API. But latest trending is web API. Using this we can develop a web service which will follow the MVC design pattern. So this is about what are all the development environment templates. Now next our topic is how to create a ASP.NET MVC basic application. Already just now we have seen all these things, right? How to create it. Just again formally we are going to discuss about this new, how to create a ASP.NET MVC basic application. Now before that I am asking you all guys one question is, have you done yesterday homeworks? Yeah, how many are completed? I want to listen from your end. Hello. Hello. Anybody completed? Total how many tasks I have given Annapurna?
5, sir.
5. Anybody completed 5 out of 5? 4, 3, 2, 1. Satya completed 3. Excellent. Anybody? So this is the problem actually. You go any training, you are listening well, but R is teaching well. No use. Venkat completed 3, Satya completed 3. But people will not do homeworks. That's the problem. Present in my classroom batch, one batch is getting finished. That is MVC batch. You know, Varun completed 3. Very good. By last month, 25 people got jobs. Now, yesterday, today, tomorrow, Monday also drives are there. Companies will come to me to recruit .NET freshers. By yesterday, 5 more people got offers. Means the number reached 30. By Monday, I am expecting 50 people are in the with offers. Almost batch is closing with all students with offers. One student is having 3-4 offers. That is possible in classroom training only by checking the homeworks like anything. I will check very strictly. Okay. And sometimes if they didn't do the homework, I'll stop the class. I'll make them to do the homework in live in class. And I'll ask them to bring lapis to class every day. So that is only the reason in Hyderabad, any .NET recruitment is going on. If they selected 10 people, 9 will be my students. 90% companies, small companies will come to us to recruit .NET freshers. If they want good programmers, they should reach me. When they are recruiting, they are taking hundreds of people interview. They will not select anybody because outside trainings, just they will give you definition, syntax examples, coding skills of the student and concept-wise student knowledge will never improve. So try to concentrate homeworks. This is very important. Now come back to our discussion. How to create ASP.NET MVC basic application. I'm going to show you. Right. What is this? Same. Whatever you have seen. That is what you know. Yeah. Open Visual Studio.NET. New project. ASP.NET MVC. And my basic MVC application. My basic MVC application. Click OK button. Click OK button and select basic. And here you have notes also very clearly. Open Visual Studio and click new project. It will open new project. Windows has to select .NET Framework 4.0 from the drop down list. Select left side Visual C#. Select web, right side select template as ASP.NET MVC4. Rename it as some application, location, D drive. Click OK. With this process, it will create new ASP.NET MVC project window. Here select template as basic. Click OK. With this process, it will create. Are you clear? But in this notes, you observed or not, this view engine is they didn't mention, but view engine you can select either Razor or ASPX. What is this view engine? We'll discuss. Right, click OK button. Click OK button. With this process, you can create a new ASP.NET basic web application, which we will to develop applications more here. So, and we'll try to understand about this basic deep. Right. ASP.NET MVC. It's created. Your basic ASP.NET MVC application is created. Already we have seen this already. Right now, now we are going to discuss more clear. Okay, now here the topic is ASP.NET MVC application folder structures. 99% folders will be same, 1 or 2 folder here and there. So here we are going to understand folder structures, available folders, what exactly what. By default, basic application solution explorer window will come with following important folders. Again, I'm telling you, by default, basic MVC application solution explorer window will come with following important folders. Following important folders. The folders are app_start, content, controllers, models, scripts. Important folders. There are various folders. Number 1, I said app_start. App_start. Number 2, content. Number 3, models. Sorry, number 3, controllers. Okay. About content folder, already we know. About controllers folder, already we know. About models folder, already we know. About scripts folder, already we know. Right. So, app_start, content, controllers, models, scripts. Coming to controllers will contain what? Controller will contain what? Yeah, controller folder will contain what exactly? Controller folder will contain all the controller class files. Whenever you want to add any controller file, that controllers files should be added to the controllers folder. It will be the .cs files. Okay, so next coming to content folder. Already we are clear with the content folder. What content folder will contain, guys? What content folder will contain? File will contain .css files and image files. Okay. Next to right, whatever we know we are discussing first. Right. Next we need to understand how to add a controller. Okay. So before that, let's complete the first one also, because people will be focus will go to this one always, because I didn't discuss them. That's why you will have a tense whether he will discuss or not all these things. App_start. This folder contain application startup setting related files. These files are C# files, means .cs files. Very simply you can say this folder contain application startup setting, means config related files. Application, simply you can say config related files, and it will contain by default 4 files: bundle config.cs, filter config.cs, root config.cs, web API config.cs. You can observe by default this folder will come with config files, MVC application configuration related files, and your application startup settings. All these things we will use in these files. At the time of development, we'll use. One is bundle config, second is filter config, third is root config, fourth is web API config.cs. This config related files will be available in this folder, app_start folder. And content folder we have seen already. Controller we know controller, but we need to understand controllers you are going to add as a developer according to your requirement. An application may contain multiple controllers. You may contain 10 controllers. You may contain one controller. That depends upon your requirement. Here we need to understand how to add a controller. Right? How to add a controller. 1 minute. How to add a controller. So from here we will see tomorrow better. how to add a controller onwards, we'll discuss tomorrow. The next class will be, guys, due to, I think it is Friday evening for US students. Am I right?
Yes.
It is Friday evening for US students. So we will have online training sessions always as per India. As per India, that will be Tuesday to Saturday. Saturday for us it is Saturday. So for USA students it will be Monday to Friday. Right. Actually for India students the session will be like morning 5:30 a.m. I think for USA students the session will be approximate maybe 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. depends upon your time zone. Am I right? So now it is Saturday for us and Friday evening for you. So weekend you don't have two classes. So according to India, Sunday, Monday classes is not there. Next class will be on Tuesday. Tuesday morning, same time. That will be for your students Monday evening. Am I right? I hope you are clear about the timings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will not have two classes. Every week we'll have 5 sessions. So in the end of the like last 2 days, if you are interested, one weekend we'll take special classes last to close the batch. My target is it started on June 5th. We are targeting July 5th to close the batch, 1 month course. So that means weekly we will have 5 days. 5 into 5, what is this? 25 days, 25 hours, but not possible. So we will see later. We'll try to increase the session time to 1.5 hours. That is my plan. I hope you are clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, but July 5th is the target. May 5 to 10 days, just keep it buffer better. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. So, my advice to all the people is if you are